Right, everybody, this is a special edition version of The Hustle. So we're going to do Spin the Bottle. And basically, you've 10 grand to spend, Henry, and I want you to argue the point of wherever this bottle falls on, and then I'll argue the point against it based on another one, right? So we'll basically pick each separately. So we'll start out with these two. So we're going to go with branding versus ads, okay? On which you would spend 10 grand on the most. Whatever this bottle lands on, Henry, you're going to pick. Oh, Henry's picking ads. Okay, and I got to pick brand.
Okay, obviously we are an agency that was birthed in brand, and I believe brand is so important, personal and corporate. But at the minute, because we're moving into more of a performance orientated, I would do a 10 grand. I would spend throw my hat, go and do a range of different ads that is easy measurable, that it's easy tweakable, and it'll be results orientated where you can't prove 10 grand of brand works.
Right, well, here's how 10 grand of brand does work. So you can't start anything without having an actual brand. So there's no point you just being a faceless company that's selling a widget if you don't know who you are and you can't communicate your values, who you are, what you do best, what you're known for the best. So your brand does all that. We've spent the last 30 years as an agency developing brands and showing people how you can look fantastic in front of the right people. And we've helped people communicate their values, what their proposition is, and right down to the actual look and feel of the people based on brand. So that's where I would start. I would spend 10 grand there.
I know you would, but I know I can get cash.
Okay.
I know I can take cash and make cash by having 3 or 4 or 5, maybe 7 campaigns running at once. Whereas when I'm looking at a brand, as much as I'm a brandy person and I love brand, I'm bringing in the coin. So, and I can prove that I can bring in the coin, I hope.
Okay, so for me, branding, if you don't have a brand in place and you're running ads, you're nobody and you're everybody all at once. Nobody knows who you are. But if you have your brand in there, it's something you can start developing. It's something people were going to start investing in. And I see a lot of companies who basically they pick up a whole load of products off a shelf and then they think, I'm going to sell these online using a whole load of ads, but they don't have their branding in place and people don't know who they are. We met a honey guy today, sells fantastic honey of all different sizes and descriptions of all different types of brands, but he doesn't know who he is. So his overall offering out in the world doesn't look great because he's not representing himself first with a brand. So
I get that, and I come back at you again, but I can have a poor brand. But the key thing is, if I have a poor brand, and I know I've got a poor brand, at least I can, with the money I make from the ads, I can invest in a better brand down the line.
Okay.
Coming back at you.
Right, so we're going to leave it there. That's ads versus brand. If you had 10 grand, what would you spend your money on? This is round 2 of Spin the Bottle on what you would spend 10 grand on if you had it to spend inside your business. Would you spend it today on websites or spend it on email marketing? So we're going to spin the bottle. Whatever it lands on, Henry's going to defend and I'm going to attack. Oh, you're closer to email, so I'm going to let you go email.
Okay, we've obviously invested heavily in email campaigns, and I think I'm going to win this one because we have proven over the last, especially over the last 6 months, where we have delved deep into email marketing, that I can honestly say, and you can going to have to agree with me, that email marketing works. It is not dead, as some of the populist people in the marketing world want to say, because we're actually proven, we're actually bringing leads in via, not just for ourselves, which is amazing, but also for our clients.
Okay, so I would argue back that if you had 10 grand to spend on email or website design, I would spend it on a really good website that performs and works. So we see so many websites at the minute and they're a mess. They're everything. They've testimonials on it hidden in an About Us page, or they've maybe something
100%.
that's above the fold that doesn't make sense. They've no hooks on their website. They've no call to actions. And pretty much what happens is people visit the website and it's a dead space and they don't know what to do. So 2026 website trends and design and the way we consume data has totally changed. And spending 10 grand smartly on your website lets you make a sales funnel.
100%, and I agree with you, but I want to come back at you again. I'm actually watching different email campaigns, different hooks, different sequences actually work to bring cash in. I can work with it's wrong to say piss poor website, but that'll allow me to actually upgrade my website as I go, as I scale. But you have to bring the cash in that allows the website to be updated.
Okay, so for me, having a really slick looking website lets you represent you as a business and as your customer beautifully. And having the emails all going out and then people not having somewhere to come back to digest who you are and what you do. So they maybe see your snappy email and they think, well, that looks good, but I want to find out more. How do they find out more? A good looking website. So that website needs to have video content in it. It needs to have call to actions, needs to have tracking pixels so you can retarget with your ads and things like that. And if you don't have that, your fancy little email sequence isn't going to work.
No, I get you, but I could actually do a fancy little website on the cheap that actually looks nice enough for me to make money, as I've proven that we're doing at the minute for our clients and ourselves, to actually increase. So I would actually make cash as I go and invest a wee piece here and there to upgrade the website. So I wouldn't spend 10 grand on a website. I would spend maybe 8 to 10 grand on an email campaign with a basic, simple, but a really effective website, but bring in the cash.
Right, so
cash is king.
It's funny you say that there's a lot of people who can just spin up a quick little fancy little website for cheap. A cheap version of a website versus one that's actually had the design and the work put into it. We've been designing websites since 1997, and I think we know what we'll talk about whenever we make a good looking website, and one specifically that will perform. So having a performance-based website versus the little brochure one that you've knocked up on Claude or on ChatGPT isn't going to cut it in 2026. You need something that's focused. It's got your customer at mind. You're running each of your verticals of all your offerings as funnels based inside your website. You're running your tracking pixels. You're running your call to actions. And I think that's where your 10 grand is best spent. So look, I'm going to finish the battle here because I don't want you to come back at me.
Oh, I'm coming back.
So we're going to say, if you had 10 grand to spend, where would you spend it? Websites or email marketing?
I personally think this is like me fighting Jack in an MMA. Jack will gas out quickly. That website will gas out. Email will bring the cash in.
Okay, welcome back to the third round of what would you spend 10 grand on first. And we have 2 sheets on the desk. One is for AI-based ads, 10 grand's worth, or 10 grand's worth of agency-based ads. So when I say agency-based ads, I mean stuff that's a bit more polished, better lighting, better cameras, better people, better actors and things like that. Or do you double down on AI ads and go at scale? So we're going to take our spinny the bottle and we're going to spin it around. Henry's going to defend whatever it points on, and let's go. Agency ads.
Agency ads. People buy from people, Chris. And we obviously use real people with real ads, with real stories, with real pain points, with real call to action. So I would be investing 10 grand at agency ads because see all the AI stuff that's going on when I'm seeing some at the minute. It's so is it unauthentic?
Yeah.
Is that a real term? Unauthentic. A lot of it is what I'm saying to them. It's not real. You know it's not real. It's AI. And it just speaks of slight fakery. Fake news, darling, fake news.
Right, okay, so for me, AI ads, you can scale. And anyone who's worth their salt, who's spending serious money or even slightly serious money in ads per month on Meta, on Google, on TikTok, they know that they need lots of creative. And whenever you're spending 10 grand's worth of AI ads, you're going to have a ton of creative that's going to fuel your system. And it's so important to be testing different angles. So with maybe your agency ads, you're only going to be able to test X amount of ads because there's only so much you can produce in one given month. With me having 10 grand's worth of AI credits that I can spend on making little ads, I can go to town on those. I can start getting all my AI copy. I can get all my AI angles and just saturate the market with a whole load of tests. And then whenever I figure out what's working, then I'll maybe spend the 10 grand on good agency ads.
That's fakery. You can go and buy 10,000 likes or 10,000 accounts on Instagram and make yourself look like an absolute champion if you want to go down and inflate the way social media does, or you want to really invest in quality actors, quality advertising, whether that's Sky, whether it's Meta, whether it's TikTok. When you know you're looking at my ad, you're looking at authentically real people who really sell. Whereas when I'm looking at yours in the mouth, like a Jackie Chan film, I'm going, do you want to fight me? And the mouth smooth.
All right. So with me, you're going to give me Northern Ireland-based actors, and some of them aren't A-list and acting faces. Let's be real. So some of them are maybe Z-listers, or some of them are made just for radio.
They're not Brad Pitt, they're Brad Gitt.
But with But with AI ads, you can get like the right look of the person. You can get somebody who's got the six pack. He's got
No
the chiseled
doubt.
chin.
It's not the real
She's
six-pack.
got the long flowing hair and the nice rosy complexion. You can get everything that you want, and you can get really detailed down to the T of what visually you want this to look like, and hammer out 100 of those creatives. Beat that.
100%. No, beat that. For the like of you're obviously giving me nothing. You're getting champagne for beer money when it comes to AI, purely because it's about inflated. We grew up in 30 years of quality content, and now you're throwing 30 years down for AI fakery. I think Donald JT Trump said it. Fake news.
Right, well, the way I see it is AI, if you look back over since 2020, it started to be a bit of a thing,
No
and
doubt.
only the early adopters were using it. Nowadays, there's people in their bedrooms running AI agencies, and they're doing very well at it, and
Very
it can
well.
only get better. So AI isn't going away. It's going to be a thing that's getting better every single year, and maybe even every single week, because it's the growth curve is like a hockey stick. It's going right up in the air, and the quality is going up in the air every single
100%.
week. I look at new stuff coming on, and that's where I would spend my 10
And
grand.
skill, there's no doubt. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm going to give you £1,000 of my 10, where we'll go for 9 grand authentic quality email or ads, and I'll give you £1,000 for your fakery.
Right, okay. Well, look, I think that there's a good argument for both, actually,
I might even
because
give you 1,500.
we've spent the last 30 years
Building quality.
building quality, and the last maybe 5 years building AI, and both of them have their place in
No doubt.
society at the minute. For me, it's a very hard call on what I would spend my money on the most, but I think Henry probably wins on this, because ultimately authenticity is probably the biggest leverage you can put inside your business. If you're going to be advertising your company in any way, shape, or form, the worst thing you can do is look fake. So
Yeah.
until AI gets to the point where you go,
No
I
doubt.
can't tell the difference, I think you need to use it, but use it sparingly. So maybe £1,000 in the budget there and 9,000 on the other one. So if you enjoyed these little quick fire questions, let us know in the comments below, and we will make some more of them. But for now, tell me what you would spend your money on. I'm Chris.
I'm Henry.
Thank you. The Business Hustle.